ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new video that's being placed on the World of Wrestling channel. This video is actually dedicated and this is a video as a tribute to Chyna. I haven't really done this video, and I should have done this a lot sooner, but yeah, pretty sad situation that a woman like herself was very popular, didn't even know it. I read an article on No DQ today, which kind of gave me the need to do this video at this point, because it was shocking to hear this. Vince Russo, in his article, or in an article I read about Vince Russo, he said that Kevin Nash contacted him and let him know that Chyna passed away. He said he wasn't too surprised by the situation because knowing the condition that Chyna was in at the time before she passed away, it wasn't very good. She wasn't in a healthy state of mind, and on top of that, he told her a lot of times to go ahead and find some help, and unfortunately she didn't. And in some cases, unfortunately, that kind of stuff happened with people. People don't listen to others that are telling them the right thing to do with their life and with their health, and they just fall apart. In this case, it's unfortunate that Chyna didn't realize how many people really liked her and how many fans she really had. Guess she kind of felt like nobody really cared about her, and she was an afterthought from the days that she was a famous wrestler, which was entirely untrue. Vince Russo, in the video he does, I think it was on YouTube he did this on, he states that he went ahead and went on his Twitter feed and found out how many fans really appreciated who she was, what she did in WWE, and what she's meant to professional wrestling, and how many fans she really had in her overall life. He said it didn't make him cry the fact that she passed away, knowing what the situation was. He still was shocked by the situation of her passing away, but he wasn't surprised entirely. He was shocked because he didn't think it would happen that soon. But he said that for 2 hours he was crying because he was looking through all the Twitter feeds, seeing all the people that were just, devastated by what happened to Chyna. And from what I heard, on JD's channel, JD from New York 206, he went ahead and did a tribute video as well to Chyna, and stated that him and Joe Cronin were doing the Out of Nowhere episode that they do every single Wednesday night, which is actually a good show if you don't mind watching a 2-hour episode of it every single week. I kind of do. I just kind of catch some of the stuff, but not all of it. But regardless of all that, they spent 4 hours on this one because within that 45 minutes of their video, they found out that Chyna just passed away that night while they were doing the video. They had people calling in to the show of Joe Cronin and JD's show of Out of Nowhere, crying on the phone, saying how much they are so sorry that she passed away. That is some crazy ass shit. How a woman could go around thinking that nobody valued her, didn't even think of her as a person, and what have you. She had a lot of fans, a lot of people that cared about, what she did in professional wrestling and so forth. The unfortunate thing is, with all that being said, all these people that cared about her, and it was mostly people that were fans of what she did in the ring, and that's great. The only problem was she didn't have those same kind of people in her personal life caring about her, and that is a shitty fucking thing. I mean, from what I read on the report, she was supposedly dead for a day and a half in her own apartment and nobody knew about it. Her next door neighbor found out that she wasn't even getting out of her room or out of her apartment. She was a little concerned about that, and she tried to get in there, called 911 because there was no answer, there was no nothing, and she called 911, and when they got there, they found out she was been dead for longer than a couple of hours, or even a couple of minutes, for that matter, to even help and save her, to maybe bring her back. Uh, so, and I'm not laughing at the death of Chyna or laughing at any of this. It's just the situation is just so fucking retarded. How nobody knew that there was something wrong with her. She had all kinds of weirded out problems. She was acting very much like she had something chemically imbalanced in her brain. From just watching some of her videos that she posted on YouTube, some of the things she said a couple of years ago, she was on Vince Russo's YouTube channel. I watched that video once. She was just saying off the wall kinds of shit, and she was doing that for several years before she passed. To me, she seemed like she was very unstable mentally. And on top of that, from what I read, she was an alcoholic, took all kinds of drugs, went into rehab, in and out constantly. She's had a pretty rough life. I don't know what the hell her family did, but they were nowhere to be found, because if she had a family, they would have tried to do something to get her living a better life before she passed, and unfortunately they probably didn't even care or knew anything about her issues or her problems or what have you. So really fucking shitty situation to happen to a woman who was liked by other people in the wrestling industry, and not speaking of fans, but actual people that worked with her. Vince Russo liked her a lot. She thought she was a very nice person. He just said she had a lot of problems and demons that she had to deal with in her personal life, but as a person, she wasn't a bad person at all. And it's unfortunate that she passed away. And I swear to you guys, what really sucks is if WWE, after all this time, could have had her be placed in the Hall of Fame and not do that while she was alive, and then decide to do that after she was dead, they can go fuck themselves, really. Because they had all this time to do this while she was alive. Now they're going to do this fucking bullshit game, like, oh, okay, she's dead, she's not going to cause any problems or what have you, and blah blah blah. If they didn't want to put her on the Hall of Fame because she had, personal issues where she was just like, they were afraid she was going to come on stage, act intoxicated, or do something out of the ordinary, that's fine. I understand that, but don't go back on your word. She had all kinds of issues. You don't freaking put her in the Hall of Fame just because she's dead. Get the fuck out of here. If you're gonna do that, you might as well put Chris Benoit in the fucking Hall of Fame, you damn bastards. So give me a freaking break. That's simple as that. That's my attitude towards that. If you're gonna put her in the Hall of Fame and do say all the fucking horrible things you said about her. Oh, she was in Playboy. She did pornographic movies. We don't want Triple H has, maybe a right to say that. Hey, I don't want my kids going online, possibly finding her on, this woman on a pornographic video or something like that, because they're doing a search about her, seeing what she's like or what she did. But he ought to take that into account with a couple other female wrestlers that they place in the Hall of Fame. Sunny's also one of them who's being considered to go ahead and star in pornographic movies now. What are you going to do? Take her out of the history books and fucking she hawked a ring, the Hall of Fame ring, didn't mean a fucking thing to her anyway. So, you might as well get rid of her too. This whole situation with WWE and their political bullshit is just fucking outrageous. I really can't understand why the hell they do all this crap and just be what they are, a fucking wrestling company. They're too corporate bullcrap. It's just retarded. Anyway, that's just my opinion about the whole scenario. I wasn't shocked that Chyna passed away. It just really kind of sucked that she did. She wasn't an ugly woman. She was very attractive to me, at least. Once she, did some changes to her face and everything else. I don't believe she was a man. She just didn't look as feminine as she should. Um, and, you know, I just really found her to be an innovator for WWE's female wrestlers. She gave the idea what women can do. JD said it, and I definitely agree with him. He said that, you know, she was the first ever woman to wrestle in a Royal Rumble, first woman to win the King of the Ring, first woman to do anything in that company, win an Intercontinental Championship, probably one of the secondary championships in the company, which is one of the most prestigious minor championship belts in the company, and she looked great with that belt. She had a great rivalry with Chris Jericho. Her and Chris Jericho put on a great couple of months with each other, doing back and forth action with the title, and then eventually they ended up sharing the belt at the end of the day. And you know, it was really unbelievable what they did with Chyna. The only thing left they could have done is have Chyna win the WWF title at that point, and I don't think Vince McMahon was going to have that happen. That would have been a little ridiculous, but I mean, it would have been kind of insane just to see it happen once, and then poof, she lost the title immediately afterwards, just for her to carry around the belt and say she was the champion for one split second or anything like that. But yeah, that's my overall opinion. I think she was a great innovator. She was a building block to what women wrestling should be and is now starting to turn into in WWE. They're trying to build the women's division into as good as the men, and I'm really enjoying their action work and everything else, and this has a lot to do thanks to Chyna for that. If it wasn't for Chyna, I don't think we would see a divas or a women's revolution in professional wrestling in WWE. I really don't. I don't think we would have seen that at all. We wouldn't have seen no Beth Phoenix either. Beth Phoenix would have been an afterthought. If it wasn't for Chyna, Beth Phoenix wouldn't even have been looking like she was all that big of a deal. Even though later on she turned out to be nothing anyway. But she was, you know, definitely looked at as someone of a secondary, smaller version of Chyna. And for her to be passed away, it's very sad, but hey, you know, I mean, you don't face your demons and get away from those problems and figure out a solution, that's what happens to you. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like she passed away from any kind of illegal drugs. Claim it's probably just an overdose accidentally from some prescription drugs that were given to her by her doctor, and they were legal. So it's really weird. I don't know. And they say it was not from suicide. They don't even think it was suicidal play here. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. If I do find out any information about this, which I've been doing day after day since I found out about this, with Chyna passing away, I will definitely let you guys know, because I'm very interested in hearing what the autopsy ends up turning out to be, because I'm very curious about this. This is a very strange situation that's happened to Chyna, and it's a little awkward and pretty much sucks. But anyway, guys, let me know what your opinions are about the situation on Chyna, and so forth. And I do appreciate you guys for watching this video. And have a great night, guys. Bye.